Hi everyone, my name is Shreya and I'm with EyePop. Today I'm so excited to talk about one of our new features, which is EyePop abilities. So, firstly, what exactly is an ability? An ability is an easy way to solve a computer vision problem by using a prompt and a set configuration. So, today we'll be kind of talking about how we can use these abilities with some industry use cases. So, let's get straight into it. But before we actually talk about the industry use cases, let me give you an example of how this ability works. We can scroll down here and look at an example image. So what this describe image task on the abilities tab can do is that given this image, it can generate as long of a description as you would like. So right here, this is like around 100-word description explaining what's going on in this image. So while this image in this example in this use case may seem a little general, I can give you a couple examples of how this might be used in industry. It could definitely be used in industry for any content moderation because turning images into text is pretty relevant if you want to flag or tag images. I can see it being used for accessibility reasons if you want to turn images into text to make sure that text to speech works. I can see this being used in marketing, for example, where if you have thousands of images, being able to run all of those images into this describe image task means that you can tag images, you can sort through images, you can make it so that if I want an image of a man riding a bicycle, all I have to do is search for that in some internal database, and boom, we have a text descriptions that is associated with this real image, and we have access to this image incredibly fast. So those are just a couple of examples of how you may use this describe image task, but let's go into an explanation on how we might use them. So we can scroll down here where we'll have a link to our GitHub. So go ahead and download the Python notebook and upload it into whatever IDE you would like, and we'll go through the code together. All right, welcome back. So you can see that I've gone ahead and I've downloaded the Python notebook that I got from our GitHub and I've uploaded it into a Google Colab. In addition, I've already installed our EyePop SDK and I've already authenticated myself by inputting the account ID and the API key as well. So make sure you do all of these steps before you go ahead and start running the code. So speaking of the code, the first thing that we need to do is define the ability itself. As you can see right here, there's a lot of different things that we need to include, such as the name of the ability, a description, the model itself that we're using, and the prompt. The prompt is the most important part about this configuration. So we specifically state that we're uploading an image, and our task is to provide a factual description of what is happening. We want it to output exactly 100 words, but at the same time, we want to avoid repetition. So maybe with a simpler image, we'll get something that's less than 100 words, but that's okay. We just want a description of what's going on in the image. So we have our content guidelines, so include when visible, all of these things, because that's what we want to focus on. And we have some strict output rules. So once again, we reiterate that it should be 100 words. Don't include a word count. Don't include any commentary. Saying all of these things is very important for the VLM to give us results that we expect. In addition, we state something that's super important over here. If the image is blank or unreadable, output no. We want to make sure that our ability is going to work on any image that we give it, even if it doesn't understand what is happening in the image. So in that case, we need to give it or prompt it with exactly what it should be saying in those situations. So that's why we should clearly mention here the negative case almost of when it should be outputting no and it shouldn't be returning that 100-word description. So this is our prompt. And if you do and want something that's like more than 100 words, for example, this is the value that you should be changing it. So you should probably increase it from like maybe 150 to 250, depending on how long you want your output to be. And we also have an image size. So depending on how much detail that you want out of the image, I would definitely increase it, but 512 is totally fine for our purposes today. Next, we will need to create our ability. So this code will create our VLM ability group. It creates the ability itself and it publishes it onto our EyePop UI. So that's perfect if you want it to be readily accessible on our UI as well. So next, we need to actually evaluate this on a single image. So I've given it a very simple image right here. So I hope it says something that's similar to what is listed out over here. And I've already gone ahead and run it. So let's see what the output looks like. So all right, it's giving us a description. The sunrise casts a golden light over the calm waterscape. All right, perfect. And it includes, wow, it includes the purple vegetation that we see over here as well. So perfect. This looks like a great description of whatever is happening in our image right here. So This is how you use the describe image use case, the ability right here, and I really recommend trying it out. It's super neat and it could definitely solve a lot of different types of problems in industry. So if you have any use cases that you would like us to check out next, feel free to put it in the comments below. If you have any questions, also feel free to put them there. And thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you on the next one.